Welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host, and Disembodied Hands, Quindy, Disembodied Beard, John, and everybody in the chat. Hi, everybody. Hello, Quindy and Turgeon and Shadow-Raven and Jay. Welcome. Welcome to day 3 of the Batling. I'll just sing that just because. Why not? Right? Right? And Kiki's here. Hi, Kikers. Are you feeling better? Are you feeling better? Are you feeling lap better? I don't know if she's feeling lap better. Hey, Kiki. Do you want to come up? You can come up. Oh, no. Noped. She noped out. She's still not 100%. She's feeling better than she was yesterday, though. Yeah? Yeah? I insisted on no Frisbee last night because, do your ears perk up when I say that word? Yes. Because I didn't want to push it. Yeah, I don't know what you did, Bubba. But she jumped up on the bed last night and this morning. So she was able to jump up on the bed. I think she's just cautious about it because it hurt her that one time. And so now she's like, Right, Bubba? Yeah. So sadly, no giant Kiki dog, except you can see her kind of waving her tail at you as she passes away. Well, this is, and just to be clear, this one is much bigger than what you get in the bag. This is probably, the actual model that is probably, if it's mouseling size, it should be about 2/3 of this. But this is the big one that Jason Weeby printed at ReaperCon, and I begged him for it, so I got it, and Ron said go ahead and paint it, because it's the same model, it's just bigger. There are new paints, Val, but I don't know what they are since I'm not on site anymore. Somebody said a metallic orange was in there, and somebody said there were a couple other new colors, or a couple other colors. I don't know what else is on there. So we're working on our Happy Jack-o'-lantern, and we got him more or less figured out yesterday with the lit eyeballs. I'm kind of sick of orange, so I don't know that I'm going to do the back today. I think I might actually do some of this foliage. Let's switch to green just for a change of pace. Sweet. And let's see here. I want to look up pumpkins on the vine. I want to see what color pumpkin foliage is. Kiki, And I want to see what color the vine is too. Images. Well, I don't want that. I want actual photographs. Thank you. All right, let's see here. All right. So that's pretty straightforward. The vines are lighter green. And the foliage looks like wilderness green to me. And probably just add some lemon yellow to the wilderness to get the stalks. But it's a pretty vibrant green. Now, always remember that when you're looking at photographs, sometimes this stuff's going to be punched up as far as somebody's increased like the gamma levels to make it look, brighter. So always look at a few different pictures. But they're fairly, it's a natural foliage color, right? And when I need that, I'm usually going for something like wilderness, which is saturated, but not crazy so. It has ochres in it, so it's not a super bright green, right? If we compare that to something like Naga green, you can clearly see that this is more muted, right? So you don't necessarily, Naga's a little bit too much, I think. Like some of these pictures are going to look really close to it, but you can see it, right? See how the Naga is just a little bit too artificial looking. When you need something natural, now if we wanted to, we could mix something like a russet brown into this and get a brownish green and we'd be fine. Like if you only have a bright green and you need a more organic green for leaves and foliage and vines and stuff, you can always add a little bit of brown to your existing bright green and you'll get there. So let's just go with that. And I might add a little bit of more brown. We'll see how it goes. But my oranges are muted, and that's the other reason that we don't want to. Hey, Twisted Oma, thanks for that Prime resub. 59 months. Next month I have to sing. Yeah, Kiki. Yeah. Did you bring your bully? Oh, good girl. Good girl, you brought your bully. Yeah, you can settle in, Chew. Good girl. She's looking at me like, what you talking about? Yeah, it's work time. Work time is the most boring time for Kikis everywhere. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to mix up some Wilderness Green, and I'm going to mix up some brown liner for shadow. I can mix more of a shadowy color that way. I could also use a red, right? Because you can always use complementary. Yeah, we absolutely. And the reason for that, Val, is exactly what you discovered in your experiments. Is that all the paints that are built for coverage are one trick ponies. Like, you have to work with them and add additives and really thin them down to get them to, like, layer well, you know, glaze well. You can get them to do it, but you're fighting the intrinsic property of the paint because the paint line designer chose to go for opacity. Opacity to transparency is a hard ask. You can get there, like I said, with additives and thinning, but if you don't have really good control of your paint and you're not, like, you know, aware of everything you need to do, you're not going to get as good results as you will with MSP, which is built for transparency first, opacity second. And as far as, like, I still hold that, like, I'm going to do a video. You've inspired me, Val. The $5 video this month. Okay, maybe this month. Yeah, because I need some more time. I need some more time to work on my cuttlefish colors. So I'm going to maybe do something on keeping MSP, like, working with MSP on a wet palette and well palette and keeping it wet, right? Because there are a few different tactics that you can use to do that. So I'll take a slight break from the cuttlefish and I will do that this month instead. Because I think it'll be useful for people who are just starting out, who maybe were told, oh, you've got to use a wet palette, everybody uses a wet palette, or if they've used a well before and they haven't had success with it because they don't know, like, the best way to use it and stuff like that. So I's gonna do that this month. So expect it. Expect it. It's trick or treat after all, so I can do a trick and go and do something else. Yeah, I noticed that, Tristan. Yeah, we could have totally done this one in, like, green and white, and I hope some people will, like, do the pumpkin with alternate colors or streaks of green or something like that. So you can see that this green is actually still pretty bright. So I'm probably I'm gonna compare my pictures. So what I'm seeing on the pictures is that I need it to be more yellow, a little bit more yellowy. And to do that, I think I'm going to reach for a yellow oxide rather than, let's see, let's grab, I know I have my oxide around here somewhere. I know it's here. No, what happened to it? As Anne reaches for the oxide yellow, well, I'll use Palomino Gold. So Palomino Gold is yellow oxide with some white in it. It's it's a good sub. I don't know where I threw my oxides. I must have moved them into the other room for mixing or something. But I'm going to use, because if I need it to go yellow, but I don't want it to go, like, really artificial looking, I'll use a more naturalistic color. And the oxides are very natural. I mean, they're iron oxide. They are actually made of rust. I mean, not literally, but you get the idea, right? It's the same kind of compound. That's why they make such good rust colors. But they also make just good natural colors when you need a yellow that isn't going to make things look, okay, well, that was too much. So if you do that, I love making blorps on stream. It lets me totally educate you guys. So when you do that, take a big brush and just lift out as much as you can. Keep lifting. You'll be able to lift a lot of it out. You can see how most of that is indeed the yellow and not the green. We'll keep lifting. And I can still use this to mix. In fact, it'll mix a nice highlight color right there. So we're not losing it. So yeah, when you overblorf, when your dropper bottle goes crazy, Kiki, please no dig. Kiki's like, I want attentions and mommy is distracticated. It's all right. That still may be a little bit too much, but I can drop another drop of wilderness in there and I can compare to my pictures. Actually, yeah, that's not bad. I could go a little, like, it's very on for the, the pumpkins and sunlight. It's a very, very, very accurate, but I want to go just a little bit down. Yeah, she is, Kuro. She jumped on the bed last night and she jumped on the bed this morning, but she isn't like over eager about it. I think it's because it hurt her that one time. Now she doesn't trust it and it'll take her some time. What did you do? Did you put a ball under there? Yeah, I think she's put a ball under my bookshelf, but I'm not going to save her from it. She can figure it out herself. Yeah, you can figure it out yourself, Keeks. Oh, yeah. That ball is there. It's right there on the left. You can't even see it, huh? She's so funny. She's like, help me, Mama. And really, it's just interact with me, Mama. Tell those stream people to go and take a jump in the lake. There we go. So one more drop of wilderness. We're looking pretty good. And I can also, if I really feel like, okay, maybe that's, although I think that's actually really good. And we can tell because when we put our pumpkin up next to it, it doesn't clash, right? Like our actual wilderness green may have even been a little too saturated for the pumpkin. So we'll see. We'll start out with this color. We'll move over. Yeah, and that's why I always tell people just go to other paint lines if you need like one coat coverage for something. Obviously painting armies, that's one. Painting a bunch of monsters for D&D, that's another. Wherever you need. Oh no. Oh no. It was the squeaky ball. Kiki, you're such a dork. Look, Mama, I got a ball out from under the bookshelf. You dork. You absolute dork, dog. She's like, I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna play with this. Hopefully she'll stop. If she doesn't, I'm gonna have to exile her. Oh no, Keek. So I'm gonna put this color on here and see. See, I don't like the words low opacity when you go talking about Reaper because to me, it covers in two thinned coats and that is like just fine. Lower opacity, sure, but like when you say low opacity, you're giving people the impression that it just is like gonna fall to pieces on everything, and I don't find that to be the case. But yeah, it certainly is lower opacity than every other paint line on the planet. But that's why it's ideal for doing what it does. And as you learn to deal with it, you're right, you can get excellent. It's good for, as you say, it's good for display. And why is it good for that? Because that's what I was when I made it. Yeah, Kiki wants input. Yes, I did tell her to get it, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, it is lower opacity than many other things. So that green's actually working. I think I want to get a little bit of my original wilderness just for a little bit of a different green shadow. I'm going to actually pop about 3 drops up here. And I'm going to put a little bit of this brown liner in there. But yeah, I didn't want the paint line to be unable to do a decent base coat. It absolutely can. But yeah, it's definitely like not for, like, it's going to make you frustrated if you're trying to do gaming painting. Unless, of course, you're like me and you don't mind taking your time on that. Oh, it's still better for too thin. Really? Duncan's line is really thin? I haven't tried it. But if he went that way, you know what? If he went toward transparency, that's what he's actually the first person on Earth to actually recognize that MSP has a point. Because you need the opacity for one thing. Maybe 2 things. Base coating, quickly, and for wet blending if you're not going to put down a base coat. Okay, so there's our wilderness with a little bit of the brown liner that also makes it go a little bit darker, a little bit more muted, and I think that's going to work really well for a triad. So there's not much difference here. I could go darker with this, and I might, if I'm using it for a true shadow. I could also consider going a little bluer with it. Yeah, that's good. There we go. Now we have a better triad. So that's what we're looking at. But yeah, but anything after that, after those 2 techniques, after wet blending without underpainting, and after getting a fast, solid base coat, everything else you do in miniature painting is thinned paint. And so having a more transparent application gives you a better result. And that's my credo. That's been my story for a very long time, and I'm sticking to it. Because I've always, like, part of the reason I hated when I was using, like, old Vallejo, they have a different formulation now, but the old stuff, you had to thin it so much to even, like, get it, because it was so thick out of the bottle, old model color. And I was just frustrated with it. It took so much time to get it to a level that I wanted to work with it. Even when I thinned, because I thinned so much for base coats, because I wanted I wanted it to level. I wanted it to self-level. I wanted a smooth base coat. And to get a smooth base coat out of the bottle, you almost always have to thin. Otherwise, you're asking for brush strokes. So I'm going to use my darker. Remember, not all leaves, even on the same plant, are the same tone, same color. So we're going to do a little bit of variation here. Not that thin. He's basically a better quality GW. Needs thinning right out of the bottle to get it smooth. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, Reaper can. Reaper's the only line where I don't tell people to do it, because there are still, I find if your paint has been sitting around a little bit, if it's evaporated, then you do need to still thin it. But yes, you can technically get a smooth base coat with Reaper out of the bottle. Most colors. I'll qualify that. And that's why I don't say that on stream and stuff normally, is that most colors most of the time, right? But if you tell somebody that and then they don't have that experience, they're going to go like, yeah, because, you know, that's what they wanted, right? They thought that was built in guaranteed, and it's not. It's actually a side effect of the regular transparency of the paint, and it isn't always 100%. I do find that there are colors that I don't like, that I would not want to do a one coat base coat with. There we go. So I like that transition with the darker and the lighter. I'll probably add in some of the darks over here. Too gloppy, yep. Yeah, I mean, you can adjust. Once you know what the deal is, you can adjust to any paint line. It's just a learning curve, right? That's why I like to, when I do these paint line reviews, if I'm really interested in the line, like with Cuttlefish, that I picked up at ReaperCon, I actually spend the time to paint an entire model with that paint. And that's... Now I'm going to actually put in, I think I'm going to get some browns, and I want to add in a little bit of variation here. Since a red is something I could use to shade this with, I can reach for a reddish leather instead, a reddish brown, so I can reach for a ruddy leather here. Mixing some other colors into like your flat colors will help to give you a little variation and naturalistic feel. So I'm just going to mix up some ruddy leather over here. So that's a reddish color. And if I mix it with my green, it's going to take over, so I need to remember that. But I can get a good olivey color. A darker green that's more brown shift. More natural in some ways. And I can use that as an additional like color accent and stuff. Yeah, and it'll tell you real quick what the strengths and you know, flaws and merits are of the line to do that, to paint, you know, a mini that you don't care as much about, that you just want to get done. I'm going to grab just a little tiny bit of this and drop it. My paint is still wet up here, so I can wet blend. I can drop a little bit of brown in here every once in a while. And sometimes you just want to drop that hint of brown just somewhere in the middle. And it's just going to give you, it's not going to be mono green, right? You just want something that's going to give you a little bit more of a natural feel. So dropping some brown into your greens will do that. Yeah, Vallejo ruined a Golden Demon entry for me once, and that was their newer formulation, and I was just so pissed off I never bought it again, never. I threw out all my bottles, and I will never, ever, ever try it again. Because it was just that bad when it matched with my painting style. And that was before MSP, by the way. That was back when I was working on Golden Demon, before I started working for Reaper. But your mileage may vary, and everybody's painting style, like Marika Reimer, who's like, you know, won international awards all over the planet, like, you know, but when she was painting regularly, she loved the thicker, like, consistency of the Vallejo's because she could wet blend with them, and that was her core technique. So if you are somebody like that starts out with a 2-brush or a wet blend, then those thicker, goopier paints are really good for you. So that's why, I don't take it personally if you don't like my paint line. Like, it's not like, it's just fine. I understand that different people with different styles are going to need a different kind of paint. And the thing to do when you're a new painter is to try them all and recognize that the different qualities are there for a reason, right? Like I said, you've got your high coverage paints that are going to be good for fast base coating and wet blending. And you're going to, have your more transparent lines that are, tuned to be really good at other things. I'm just going to put some shadows under here. I mixed my ruddy leather with my brown liner, and I just made a thinned application. And I'm just going to put it underneath. I want to suggest a shadow under these edges. Yeah, and Angel and Doc Faust are both like, they do, at least Doc used to do, he used to do a lot of speed. Like he's very good at good fast painting, right? And then taking that and building on it, both of them. But when you look at how they start a model, it's very quick. Well, Angel uses a lot of airbrushing, right? Am I correct? Or is it Angel? I assumed it was Angel, but... I'm going to take water and I'm going to kind of feather that edge. Just wanted a little bit more of a shadow underneath those leaves. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how the new P3 acted. I found them a little inconsistent when they first came out. There was one color that separated really badly on me, and I kind of took a dim view of it. Like, another color was just fine. So I found there was just a little bit of inconsistency there. There. Yeah. Right. Yep. Yeah, because it's different. Because the chemistry is different. It's made to do that. You were right when you were like, you noticed it wasn't... Every observation you've made is correct, Val. Like, the problem, I guess, or not the problem, but the dichotomy is that, it's like that you didn't realize immediately that, oh, this is meant to be this way. I should have maybe said that. I say it a lot, but, I always forget on stream that, there are people who just stop in for one day, and anything I say on that day is brand new to them. Hi there, Kiki. Are you back? Did you decide not to squeak disrupt the stream? Squeak bomb? Is that like a photo bomb? Squeak bomb? Kiki wanted to squeak bomb the stream. Hey, you've got a cookie on your eye. I'm going to grab a Kleenex and get that, okay? Let me get that cookie. There we go. Good girl. Good girl. Hi, Noodle. Hey, you know what, though? I need to work. She's like, oh, I hate that word. I hate that word. Still in the Hopefully Stream Forged. Oh, stay away from their Kickstarters. Yeah. Yeah. Hi there, Bubba. Look out. Yeah, look out, Bubba. Yeah, I gotta work. I gotta work. And you don't want to jump up on the lap because you're not into it right now, so... That means it's back to work. It's work. Yeah, go find your bully. What's up? Is your ear hurting you? Yeah, well, we'll deal with your ears after the stream, okay? Good girl. Yeah, go settle. Now under the candy corn, I want a dark shadow, so I'm going to start with my darker green and probably bring some browns in. bring a little bit of my leather in. Just always putting a little bit of brown in here or there. A bit of that ruddy leather, just so I can keep things from being a little bit too unnatural. Yes, work is absolutely a curse word in Kiki language. Indeed, Baba, indeed. Kuroniko, the beat sheet for the Werewolf Paladin Romance is probably the most elaborate beat sheet I've ever. What are you doing? Oh no. Go, Peaky, go settle. I'm gonna have to exile you if you don't settle down. She brought the squeaky ball back in, guys. She's threatening me. She's threatening me. She's like, you're no fun. But I finished making the beat sheet last night. It is a synthesis of the beat sheet I was doing before, plus kind of a truncated beat sheet that somebody else, like one that I wanted to integrate, plus the romance beat sheet. It is very long. It is 3 pages long. Because you've got like the romance plot and then the regular plot. So essentially you're layering 2 beat sheets over the top of each other to structure your story. And I like to always like use a beat sheet to block things in. A beat sheet is something that hits different story beats. So movie writers use them religiously. Novel writers a little less so, although they certainly can be used to keep your story tighter, which is what I like to use them for. You're inordinately excited by this. It should be good. I'm getting more insight into the characters. Like, what I do, like, now that I can just think about them all the time, is I, like, just kind of mull over it, and at the weirdest times, something will pop into my head, like, why this character, like, did this, and what happened here, and what's going to happen there. Ah, nice, Twistoma. That means it'll be with you in like a day, Twistodoma. Receiving postage means it will be with you by tomorrow, I would imagine, since you're in Texas. I'm going to put some white into my lighter color here. My pumpkin-y highlight. I might need to go a little bit more vibrant there, though. I thought I was shearing away from going too... Well, I'll try it. I'm just worried that might be a little bit too olivey, but maybe not. We'll see. Ah, yes, nice. Nice, Crowley. He was born human. Critico. Because if you want the D&D Paladin, then, you know, we've got some backstory stuff to deal with. Yeah, so I went that way. Remember that this world is a world where magic shattered because, like, humans went too far with it in the distant past. So all of the D&D races, all of the races that you see that are not human, are essentially remnants of those shattered empires. And of course the humans are too. But essentially, humans just went too far trying to quantify and regiment magic and tame it, and eventually that caused a very, very large backlash in the nature of magic, and so now magic is like free floating like moats. It lives in creatures and plants and stones and everything. And when you break anything, or smash it, or grind it, or, you know, reduce it to its base components, or you kill it, those motes are released. And it varies as far as like how much magic that thing can absorb. And every everything has a threshold. So a different human will have a different threshold for how much magic they can absorb than another. And since the magic is somewhat wild, pretty much wild, imagine a world infested with wild magic, really. It can change people and animals and plants into monstrous things. So our hero, our heroine, and our hero are in a town that is a lot like Hogsmeade. It exists to serve a college of wizards who are essentially utilizing a new technology to sweep the moats out of the air and essentially try to reduce the impact on the surrounding area so that people can live safely. Except, of course, it's more complicated than that. But yeah, and so heroes are needed because everywhere around that area, like, there are still monsters and things that get into, come in under the radar. So you need people to deal with that. And also to keep people safe who choose to live, like, at kind of the edges of that area. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because necromancers, right? Necromancers. I was thinking, originally, because I really always loved the Defilers in Dark Sun. I loved the idea of, like, magic pulling life out of things. So this is kind of a play on that, and kind of a play on just the idea of necromancers. And except you can be a plantomancer. You can just kill plants. Of course, they don't store enough as much magic, but they store different kinds, too. So... yeah, I'm still developing the system at this point. I need to have a good grasp just on the very basics of it in order to write the book. And as I write, I will get a better grasp of it. I do a lot of writing into the dark, but I at least have to have the foundations of a magic system set before I begin, or I get myself into trouble really quick. All right, so we've got a nice plop of green there. Let's get these guys down. But yeah, it's not a new idea by any chance. I just want to give it a and let's face it, since these are primarily romance, a lot of romance readers are just going to be like, yeah, get on to the love. So I just essentially, I need enough. And I get this leaf really dark here. But I like the idea, and I like being able to play with that kind of system. Oh, and the other thing that happened is part of the impetus for the explosion of magic was the gods being very angry. Because humans essentially presumed that they could even control the gods, because the gods are beings of pure magic, right? They're manifestations of magic. So essentially... now the gods, like, exist, like, wherever there are lots of motes of magic, there's a chance of a minor god, like, just manifesting and making trouble. Nope, yeah, bats, no tail. Yeah, but you're right, it comes out at the appropriate place, right? It is that kind of tail-ish. I don't think it is, because technically right here is where his back is. So his tail would come out. If he had a tail, it would come out there. But no, it is not. It is a pumpkin vine. It is the vine of the pumpkin. Sorry for those disappointed who thought he had a pumpkin tail. You could paint it that way, I'm sure, and nobody would question it. Remember, the vines are a lighter green, so I'm going to start with a lighter color. But yeah, so meddling gods are definitely on the menu in this also, and I always love fantasy series where the gods will meddle, or their servants will. So this is my meddling gods series too. That's why well, we won't give anything away. We'll keep the spoilers to ourselves for now. once it's out and you can read it, then we'll give it some time and then we can spoil. But yes. Yeah, bats don't need tails. I saw bats flapping around last night. They were an omen. They're like, hey, thanks for painting one of our own. But they were chasing each other around in the twilight when I was walking last night. They were fast, too. They were zooming around. But yeah, we'll see. They have tiny tails. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, no idea is truly original, so it's always you that adds the originality, is the way I think of it. And this is true in mini painting as well. But a lot of people get obsessed with telling like a truly original story, and the problem is that those don't usually resonate with people. And if you consider all the thousands of years we've had to tell stories, chances that you'll do something truly original without also like just not being very appealing are small. Gonna go back to my darker green for the leaves. Oh no, I got some green on the pumpkin. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, bats are great for eating the bugs. There were a lot more bugs in Washington than there are here where I am. I've forgotten how bug-ridden much of the United States is. Yeah, when you go down to the core, when you go down to just the core, like bullet points, yeah. So really, the thing that makes a story, unique is your window dressing, which usually comes from like the kind of story that appeals to you in your own life experiences and the way you interpret them, which is why we can still be surprised by stories, and why people can still read. Like a romance reader could go through 30 or 40 different romance novels a month, or more, and still enjoy them, right? Because every story is a different writer's or one of a writer's different takes on that basic theme of love conquers all. So there we are, nice solid base coat. Let's get this leaf. I'm definitely going to use some darker color on the shadow side of this leaf. Mix in some of my ruddy leather and grab my dark green and see what I get. Probably a dark olivey color. That's kind of pretty. Dark brown green. 3,000 midges a night. Nice! Yum yum. And they never get fat. I wish. And not that I'd want to be eating midges, mind you. But like eating, 3,000 chocolate chip cookies a night. I doubt I could actually do that, but still. There we are. But yeah, so I'm hoping this will be fun. Later books may delve more into the doings of the actual college or people in it. I still have to decide if this is like a one-off experiment or a program that the wizards are, like doing in different kingdoms, or if this is the kingdom's own experiment. Because in some areas of this world, I think wizards are a bit sus, because some people, even though the Great Disaster was more than 1,000 years ago, some people, the legendary is still passed down, and some people still blame wizards. Something for gnats, yep. Yeah, gnats are... We still get gnats here. So I'm going to... In these deep... Because this is a bigger... because the sculpt is blown up so much for this, the undercuts are very big. So anytime I get a big, like, kind of under area of something that's just featureless, I'm going to just paint it with my brown liner. So just using my brown liner to add deep shadow and lining on the underside of these plant vines in line with my black primer, since it was zenith. The great magical disaster. I haven't actually placed dragons in this world, other than like that there are dragonborn, but they're a remnant of an ancient race. And some people suspect that the dragonborn are actually a twisted race, which is what they call when sometimes the magic will get in and twist like a community. And if a god is there to meddle, it may become a new magical race. So the Dragonborn swear that they're not, but some people don't believe them. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, but I haven't decided about like how dragons might exist in this world. It would take an awful lot of magic. Like, it would be probably big, like, really large, terrifying monsters like that would need to be out, like, way out in the wilderness, in the wildlands, near a source of extreme magic, right? Whereas humans over the past, well, all the conscious races over the past hundreds of years have developed like magics and technologies to essentially protect themselves from too much magic as much as they can. So these big magic sweepers are the latest technology. And I have to, I haven't yet decided, but clerics may not be a fan of this. I haven't decided. Because technically, where magic motes are kept out, their gods can't necessarily intrude as much. So it could be that people are kind of like wary of priests in this world because a priest is always a vessel for a god. And so where the priest goes, the god can go even if there isn't a lot of intrinsic magic in that area. Hypothetically. It's interesting. That's why it's so interesting to just start with a basic premise like this and just expand it out. Because then you think about, oh, but what about priests? What happens then? You know, and you just like figure it out. And you get some very interesting, like different feel. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Savage Worlds is cool. Oh, horseshoe bat. Neat. Alrighty. Let's get the rest of this leaf done. And I think we've almost, I'll have to double check. We've almost managed to get this, the greens all leafed in, and then we can start highlighting. Highlighting and extra shading. Since I'm doing kind of a wet blend base coat, it saves us a little bit of time. But we'll still want to go in and refine what we've got. I was reading my D&D Player's Handbook last night, and other than making me really want to play D&D, because I love some of the paths, like the individual kind of specialty classes they gave. I forget what the name is for them, but that every class has 4 different paths that it can do. I love that. It makes me want to play so much. I'm sad that I don't have a DM. Mr. Quindy. It should be this Saturday, Wansling. I don't think I have anything else going on Saturday, so I'll be working on Lava Dragon. Also a face a mother could love, right? Right? Yeah, we'll be working more on Lava Dragon. A bit more base coat and probably also the face. Maybe the chest. I don't know. We're just going to work on whatever part of it I feel on the day, because that's the way I do these things. So it'll be, to be more specific, it'll be this coming Saturday at roughly 3 p.m., 3-ish p.m. USA Central Standard Time. And I'll be streaming, hopefully, on the new Miniatures and Models channel on Twitch. You'll still be able to find me at Painting Big. It's just we're going to be streaming to a different, the new community, so to speak. Because I was streaming on art before. Yeah, it's a good dragon. So David's like, we really don't have to set up our new printer yet because, we're not going to print anything right away, right? And I'm like, person standing with finger raised above button to buy Fairy Dragon Bust for the last 3 weeks. But I have Lava Dragon to paint, so I don't need the Fairy Dragon yet. It'll be a good impetus to finish Lava Dragon before I can print. Oh, it's just... When you stream, you stream under a category. So it's a new category, Wansling. So like before, if you just wanted to look for miniature painters, you either had to look in the art category or you had to look in the Warhammer category. Like if you were just trying to find new people. But now they actually made a new Miniatures and Models channel just for us, like after begging them for years. Yes, there's a Fairy Dragon Bust. It's adorable. Hold on, I'll dig it up. I need to be reminded of it. On my mini factory, it's printable, Val. So I don't remember if you have a 3D printer or not. Hold on, let me find my Fairy Dragon Bust. Kiki, no. There it is. It's such a cute. It's adorable. It's got a raspberry. It's the most adorable Fairy Dragon Bust ever. Yeah. So cool. Hi, Kiki. Thanks for protecting us from axe murderers. Yeah, it's a new Twitch category. Yep. Yes. So now, if you want to discover new miniatures painters, you can go to the Miniatures and Models category and just scan and see who's streaming. It's adorably cute, yeah. No. That's you're missing an opportunity there, Twisted Oma. I have wanted to paint realistic butterfly wings for so long. I am absolutely painting them. Like I have a book that with up close photos of butterfly wings. Those suckers, even though they kind of look like they should be like translucent, like beetle type wings, I'm totally going to paint them like butterfly wings. Ah, cool. Yeah, so it's a cute fairy dragon bust. I'm looking forward to it after I do my lava dragon. Just going to get in underneath these areas. Remember to block that in with the brown liner. Alrighty, I think we're pretty good. The mushrooms are separate. We've got all of our leaves and stuff. Yeah. And we don't have any grass. So I'll probably paint this as soil and do some little tufts of grass and stuff in it. No big basing. We want this to be just a fun. Yeah, that fairy dragon bust is awesome. This is why you need to cooperatively buy a 3D printer with your besties, Kurnico. All the dragons that will open up to you. I want to make a lighter, an even lighter green. 1 second. There. And I want to make my other green a little more solid. But yeah, really love that fairy dragon, so that's on my list. That's the next one. It's definitely the next thing I want. I'm just mixing some lemon yellow into my lightest color, and then I'm going to make it even lighter green with a little bit of lemon yellow in it. And so then my colors end up looking like those, which are my highlighting colors. Since we added pure white to this, we need to thin it down a little bit more. Cool. Yeah, I think dragon busts are my groove, guys. Like, entire dragons are just too much for me these days, but dragon busts are awesome. And 3D printable ones are even better. Because then I can scale them and make them the size I want. I know, and you have to point out that, you know, you don't have a good place for it. Unless you put it in your greenhouse. I still think it could work in there. Although it doesn't actually, because the problem is you need to be able to vent the area. Ideally, you need to be able to air it out, and obviously you don't want to open up your greenhouse and let a bunch of cold air in. So you need like a garage or one of those sheds. You can just put it in the shed. Make it your 3D printing shed. Your dragon creation shed. I'm just enabling you. Absolutely. Blacking that, however, Kurnico, you should really just make friends with one of us who has a 3D printer. Because you know we love you, and we would send you presents from time to time. Alright, I want to add some of this light color around the edges. And if I do decide at the end that I want this to be a more vibrant green and a little less olivey green, I can just glaze my wilderness over it and it'll be fine. So cold and full of spiders, yeah. Yeah, cold can mean slower printing. If you did it, you'd want to get a space heater or something. actually darken down toward the center of each leaf. The lava dragon is. The fairy dragon is not. This guy is the same one that did the crystal dragon. And I have two or three other dragons out of that same campaign. Dragon busts, that is. One of them I might even do as a metallic dragon, because he's a bit simpler. So I'm going to darken down the center of these leaves a little bit more so that I can bring out some detail with my highlights. This is also going to like make them a little less washed out. Yeah, that's ridiculous that you guys get charged tax on everything. Like, there, that looks a little better. And I've kept my brown hints of brown. You can see them still because my paint is thinned. So we're going through, and I'm using my darkest color, my darkest green, to just expand. Yeah, that's pretty nasty. Poor Kuroniko. All she wants are dragons. You need to let a spider-eating bat loose in your garage. Or, here's an idea, Kuro. If your friends really want you to get a 3D printer, tell them that you will do it if they come over and clean your garage and get the spiders out of it. And if they buy you a space heater for it. Thus, overcoming the two main problems with your garage. Yeah, that's a pretty good one, Shadow Raven. Well, obviously. But if they really want it, if you propose that, say, okay, this is what you have to do. If you really want it, I'll buy it, but you have to do this because you know, that it just seems, dang it, get unlazy friends, Kuro. Like these people, they want you to learn how to use the printer, learn how to use Lychee, buy the printer to share with them, but they don't want to do any of the work. Like, seriously. These people. I would be flailing Muppet arms at these people. These people! Oh, just go to my mini factory and just search Dragon Bus. Like, their search function is actually really good. If you search Fairy Dragon Bus, that one I showed you is the first one that comes up. And if you just search through Dragon Bus, there's actually quite a lot of nice Dragon Bus on my mini factory. Including the ones that I showed. Yeah, right. Yeah, those guys should buy their own damn printer. Exactly, Richard. Exactly. Oh, I see. So you there, but they don't let you. Like, why don't you like get a dragon printed from that person? Like, at least share the love. These friends, they're just cats. And sadly, I use that kind of derogatorily in that sense. Sorry, cats. I didn't mean to insult actual cats who are, of course, superior. So I wanted to darken down these leaves. Oh, those are ex-friends. You divorced them. Good. Excellent. Afternoon, Polly. Afternoon. I'm trying to figure out how I want to paint these leaves. And currently, my strategy is to paint the veining as lighter. And the leaf bits as darker. Sadly, these are not very, because the veins are so exaggerated, I really can't paint them the way that pumpkin leaves would naturally be. Or possibly I could, but it's a pain. Plus, I don't want to spend too much time on leaves. Yes, it is Papunky Creatures. That's who makes that one. But my point is that all that Val has to do is just go search, use the search function on my mini factory, and it will find all the busts, all the dragon busts, and easily done. Because I don't think I'm going to be on Anywhere to Leave links today. I have lots to do. Lots to do. Still trying to get back in the saddle after the long road trip. So best just to, not to Google it, but just best to use the search function because it is very good. Imagine the hairballs. Yuck! Yeah, and they have no interest in finding out either. Yep. Yep. Just putting a little bit more brown in there. It's starting to look okay. Oh, I just used it. I had no problem with Fairy Dragon. Fairy Dragon bust was fine. And yeah, as Turgeon said, it was Papunky Creatures who had the Fairy Dragon bust. There's some pretty awesome, more like D&D style, like a red dragon bust, a black dragon bust, and stuff like that too. The red dragon's really nice. So I'm adding more browns into my leaves and darkening them down. You're not looking. Realistic Pokemon. Man, that's going to be big. Those are big prints. try to bring out some of these veins. Yeah, the problem is they're so hard. They're so fine. You almost have to use the edge of your brush to get them. Oh, smart Turgeon. See, look at Turgeon. That's a search pro right there. Go around and run around the search function. That's looking okay. Getting there. Hold on. Let me see if this is actually a thing. Trying to find the, hold on. Let me just find, if I even scroll down and find one of these, I'll be able to give you. Ooh, Ice Dragon bust. That's really cool. There's an Ice Dragon that's really nice. Ooh, a Forest Dragon bust. That one's cool too. There's some new ones. There must be a run on dragon busts. Pardon me while I just keep scrolling until I find one of my busts, and then I can see which company produced it. Usually they come up before this. There it is. Alright. You want to look for... There's the bronze dragon bust. I'm going to be doing him probably metallic. But he is... This is the one you want. Val. Just look these guys up on My Mini Factory. And they have a dragon bust campaign on there, and if you look at it, you'll see all the busts. But this is totally cheap. Like, the bronze dragon is only $4.99. But yeah, I'm going to be doing him at some point. Oh, this one's just a bust, so I think... about 3250 millimeter scale. That's not bad. Yeah, but yeah, they're still big, right? They're still creatures, so... The dragon busts weren't that bad as far as resonating. Because this particular one is hollow. At least has hollow points, so there's the drainage holes. And there's a drainage hole on the back, too. A couple of them. See? Drainage hole, drainage hole. So, these dragon busts don't eat resin that bad. Not as much as you'd think. Because they actually went to the trouble to slightly hollow them. I'm bringing my very lightest green. But yeah, I'll have to go back and look at that forest dragon bust because it didn't have leaves on it, but I can always add leaves. The wood looked cool. So I'm just coming in and doing some lighter bits at the edges of the leaves. I think it might be you. Because I was just there. Let me try reloading. Nope, still up. Maybe it's your interwebs. Oh yeah, I think I've seen that one. It's very pretty. Yeah, there are some beautiful forest dragons out there. This was the first dragon I ever painted, was the Wood Elf Forest Dragon for Warhammer Fantasy. Yeah, I bet you'd have to hide it in a box with your terror kitten. The terror kitten would have that thing in a second. It would be like, this is of value to you and fragile. I swear every cat, like, that's every cat. There we go. Some of these veins are super fine and it's hard to hit them. But she'd have to pay VAT on them. That's the problem. If there was a black market shipping, you know, where we could get things to Kuro without her having to pay vast amounts of her income, that would be ideal. We all wish we could gift you things, Kuro. But you're just going to have to settle for a werewolf paladin romance novel. You're on the wrong side of Canada for smuggling. Yeah, I think I've seen that one. That was one I just saw. That's true. That's true. It might defeat a small cat. Maybe. And the cat would sulk for days afterwards. At least they're not all doing all the things. Yep, have fun, Shadow Raven. Send two, only one is hollow and filled with cash. The Trojan miniatures. Trojan Forest Dragon. Then you want your cat to break it. So we're just getting those edges of those leaves to come out. It's hard to paint these like fancy because they're just so many striations and they're deep. I wish there were fewer veins. Like, I wish that, I'm going to make this lighter in general. I'm going to glaze it to be over the top of that other leaf. That's why you always pack the minis so they can be clearly seen. Here we got some variation across the top of these leaves now. Let me get a little bit more of the veins touched up. Yeah, these are finagly. Oh, yeah. Shrapnel. Plainly, it's shrapnel, Crowley. Learn to sculpt detail. Yeah. Yeah, with no detail. Yep. Well, that's privateer press for you. I hate to say it, but there were several moments in the history of that company where they essentially said, learn to X-noob. It was not great for public relations. Okay, I like that leaf. I like that leaf. Oh, I have to remember there's a little leaf bit there. Yeah, so I agreed that we didn't have to set up the new 3D printer until we actually wanted to print something, so. But this may be the time I learn to do everything rather than waiting for David to be ready to do it. He's normally the person who does lychee and everything, but I'm like, you know what? Now that we've had a 3D printer, now that I've seen the stuff and been exposed to it, I feel more like I can learn how to do it all. And I kind of want to print while it's still relatively warm out. I could print a couple of dragon busts. Then I'll have dragon busts all winter. No, I mean, Privateer Press, like, War Machine and Hordes were very popular for a while there. At the point where I forget what year it was, but, like, I would say 2005, 2006, maybe up to 2010. Like, Ed and I would talk about them because they were at that point the same size as Reaper was. Like, they had the same income, same, kind of, like, we're employing roughly the same many people. Ed and I talk to industry a lot. Bye, Carly. And like, they did a lot of things right. They had a pretty rabid fan base, and they still do, I think. People who still really like that game. But they started growing like too fast and trying to expand too fast for like the income, I think. They weren't doing... Were they doing Kickstarters? Did Privateer ever do a Kickstarter, guys? I don't remember if they did. They just did, yeah, that was their first one, right? And that was more Steamforged, right? Because Steamforged is used to doing Kickstarters. But if they had done that back when Reaper did, they might have, like, come through it okay. Because they were building a lot of infrastructure and doing a lot of hiring. And Ed was worried that they were just going too fast. I remember that. That may or may not be true, but... Yeah, pretty much everything is Steamforged now for Privateer. Which, you know what? For fans of the game, at least it's still out there. There we go. Get these leaves done. I was just never into the art style, so I never got into that game. That, and when I was curious about it, one of my friends who played said that the biggest disadvantage was that you had to know all the armies in order to play competently. Like, you had to be aware of the, like, powers of the different armies. Which isn't so much that different from, like, something like Warhammer Fantasy that I used to play, but I had enough friends playing enough of the armies, and I played enough against them that I had learned what their big baddies were. The thought of doing it to a new game just didn't appeal to me at the time. Yeah, Menoth. Yeah. Well, somebody may relaunch it at some point. You never know. Like after you may yet get your faction back. There we go. That looks nice. Mm-hmm. I only have one Ouroboros that I picked up, and I still haven't painted it, so it may get sold. My selling thing got put off because I was just too busy with freaking travel this year. So that's on the list of things to do this winter. Alright, it's about time to start wrapping this up. So I think, again, once again, we managed to finish the front and not the back. We're going to have like the whole front painted, and then we'll have to do the entire back. But we're getting there. We're getting right. We're moving right along. Then we'll have a little cute brown bat on top. Very cute. So cute. The hard part's going to be making him cute, like with those huge eyes. I'll need to figure it out. Yeah, and that doesn't sound like fun to me, Val. Yeah, Steamforge is funding themselves on Kickstarters now. We're going to do a spectacled flying fox for the fur, Kuro. Hold on, I have a picture. Boop. Hello, says the spectacled flying fox. I am cute. So very cute. And so that is what we're going to do for him. Because that lets me do like that darker brown with the light face to bring out the features, and then the lighter brown also around there, then dark brown for the belly. I like that he had different variations. Yes, the Batling is adorable. Highly recommend. Even though the pumpkin leaves are annoying. But yeah. Yeah, so that's what we're going to pattern him on, roughly. That's what we're going to do. Then he'll have brown and like darker paws. So yeah, that's what we'll do. All right, guys. Well, thanks. Your bats are so much more squished looking. Yes, thank you, everybody. We will be back tomorrow. Still working on the Batling. I'm gonna work on the Batling, and we'll see if I get sick of it and I want to switch out a day. But I think we're pretty good. So we will be back tomorrow, and then I'll be streaming my own stream on Saturday. Yes, thank you much, everybody. Oh, stretch. Everybody remember to stretch. Oh, my shoulders. Yeah. Thanks so much, everybody, and I will see you again tomorrow. Quindy, as always, thank you so much for herding ye old cats and bats, and I will be back. Thanks much. Bye-bye.